Good afternoon, Kiowa tribal citizens. My name is Warren Wheatdon. I'm the District 7 legislator. I'm sponsoring a resolution entitled the Kiowa Election Law of 2022. The resolution is looking at acceptance of an election ordinance of the Kiowa tribe that was developed in partnership between the legislature and the Kiowa Election Commission. The Kiowa Election Commission is operating under an older ordinance. This resolution would align the Kiowa Election Commission operating procedures and they would be nested with the new Kiowa Constitution of 2017. This is a living document. An ordinance is something that can be changed over time, but this is just laying out policies and procedures for the proper administration of elections moving forward. As you all know, the Kiowa Election Commission is established by the Constitution to oversee legitimate elections for the Kiowa tribal elections. So today I'm going to read the ordinance as it reads right now. There is nothing set in stone. We'll have a public hearing to discuss as well. We're just going to conduct a reading and post it to our website so people can listen and actually read the ordinance as it reads right now. So this will be a pretty long, lengthy process. Let's begin. Election Ordinance of the Kiowa Tribe, Section 1, Authority. The election ordinance is established by the Kiowa Election Commission of the Kiowa Tribe under authority delegated to it by Article 9, Section 3, Alpha of the Constitution of the Kiowa Tribe. Section 2, Purpose. The intent and purpose of this ordinance is to establish procedures for free and fair elections and to ensure the secrecy of the ballot and privacy of the voter in casting their ballot. The regulations and procedures contained in this ordinance shall be administered in such a way as to accomplish the purpose and intent. No mere informality in the manner of carrying out or executing the provisions of this ordinance shall invalidate this ordinance or any election held under it. Substantial compliance shall be recognized as adequate. Section 3. Definitions. For the purpose of this ordinance, the following definition shall be applied to the terms or words found within this ordinance. Absentee voter. An eligible voter who has requested an absentee ballot in accordance with the provisions of this ordinance in an election where absentee balloting is provided. Conflict of interest. When a member of the commission or a poll official has a legal or familial relationship to a candidate for office. Such relationships are defined as mother, grandmother, father, grandfather, sister, brother, wife, husband, and those sharing a domicile or residence, including those related by the civil union or common law marriage. A conflict of interest shall exist if a commissioner or a poll official is in the employment of a candidate or of a business entity that would be affected by the passage or defeat of any referendum question placed on a ballot. Election Commission. The Election Commission of the Kiowa Tribe as established by Article 9, Section 3 Alpha, Bravo of the Kiowa Constitution. Election Notice. The official notice published, posted, or otherwise disseminated by the Election Commission notifying voters that an election will be held and included the dates and rules of that election. Eligible voter, a currently enrolled member of the Kiowa tribe who is or will be 18 years of age or older as of the date of any election conducted under the provisions of this ordinance. Inactive voter, an eligible tribal member who has had an election correspondence returned to the election office for an invalid address. These voters shall not be issued a mail-in ballot until an address update is received in the Kiowa Election Commission office. Polling sites, locations designated by the Election Commission for the casting of ballots in accordance with Article 9, Section 6 of the Kiowa Constitution. Poll official, an official appointed or hired by the Election Commission to oversee polling site operations. Registered voter, an eligible tribal member, age 18 or over at the time of the election, who has registered or voted within the district they reside, in accordance with Article 9, Section 2 of the Kiowa Constitution. Rejected ballot, a ballot that has been improperly marked in such a way that the intentions of the voter cannot be determined. A rejected ballot is not tabulated or included in the results of the election. Spoiled ballot, a ballot that has been marked in error by a voter and has been returned to the poll officials by the voter and replaced with a new ballot. Tribe, the Kiowa tribe. Vote by mail or vote by mail ballot, a ballot that has been issued by mail to an eligible voter under the provisions of this ordinance and the right of Kiowa voters to vote by mail act. Section 4, Election Commission. 4 Alpha, membership. In accordance with Article 9, Section 3 Alpha of the Constitution of the Kiowa Tribe, there shall be an election commission which shall have the responsibility for the conduct of all elections, and the legislature shall not have executive or administrative authority over the commission. The members of the commission shall consist of 1 member from each district with a chairperson elected annually from its membership. Prospective members of the commission must be eligible voters of the Kiowa tribe and must be nominated by the Kiowa tribal chairman. They must further be confirmed in a formal meeting of the legislature, at which a quorum of the legislature is in attendance. No elected official of the tribe shall be eligible to serve on the commission. Members of the commission shall be compensated for their duties. Commission members must, at the time of their nomination, 1. Be an enrolled member of the Kiowa tribe and be eligible to vote. 2. Possess, at minimum, a high school degree or its equivalent. And 3. Not have been convicted of a felony. 4. Bravo, terms. Commission members shall serve 4-year terms. Terms shall be staggered so as to provide for the continuity in the operation of the commission. Commissioners shall be eligible to serve 2 consecutive terms and shall be considered reappointed at the conclusion of their first term upon submission of request for reappointment and approval of that request by the legislature in a formal meeting at which a quorum is in attendance. Commissioners that have reached the conclusion of their second full term are not eligible for reappointment until 2 years have passed since the completion of their second term. A commissioner serving more than 730 calendar days of a term shall be considered as having served a full term. To preserve the stagger of terms, any vacancy created by the failure of a commissioner to fulfill the entirety of their term for any reason shall be considered a vacancy for the remainder of the unexpired term. Any commissioner appointed to fill that vacancy shall fill only the remainder of that term. At the conclusion of the unexpired term, the person filling the vacancy shall be eligible to be appointed to 2 consecutive terms provided above. 4C. Internal procedures of the Election Commission. In its role in the conduct of elections and the processes contained within this document, the Commission and its members shall hold itself to standards contained within this ordinance, as well as applicable to standards contained within the Constitution of the Kiowa Tribe. The Commission shall have the authority to act regarding discipline up to, including removal of members for violation of tribal law. Provisions of this ordinance or conduct deemed to be detrimental to the ability of the Commission to function as the fair and unbiased administrators of the elections of the Kiowa Tribe. Members shall not have been convicted of a felony. Any potential member of the Commission that has been convicted of a felony shall not be eligible for nomination to the Commission. Any member of the Commission convicted of a felony or other crimes as described in Article 12, Section 1 of the Kiowa Constitution shall automatically have their seat declared vacant upon the date of their conviction. A replacement commissioner shall be appointed in accordance with the process described in Section 4 Alpha of this ordinance. Members of the Constitution shall not be related to any candidate competing for office. A commissioner with a familiar relationship as described in the conflict of interest portion of the definition section of this ordinance shall, to a person filing for office, shall immediately disclose that relationship to the Commission and recuse themselves from further participation in that particular election until its conclusion or until the person to whom the Commissioner is related to is no longer a candidate in this election. Recusal includes no participation in any processes or decisions of the Commission and no participation in votes taken by the Commission during the course of the recusal. Failure to disclose this type of conflict of interest shall be grounds for disciplinary action up to and including removal from the Commission. Members of the Commission shall not endorse any candidate or question in any election. They shall not participate in any campaign activities or other forums or venues, including social media, that could be perceived as being in support of or against any candidate or question in any election. Commissioners failing to maintain impartiality in the conduct of their duties and their term of office shall be subject to disciplinary action up to and including the removal from the Commission. Members of the Commission must be capable of performing necessary duties of the Commission to ensure that elections are conducted as required. The ability to participate in the meetings of the Commission and to execute its other responsibilities is critical to the election process. Any commissioner unable to attend meetings of the Commission or having more than 3 unexcused absences from Commission meetings or other election-related functions also called by the Commission shall be subject to disciplinary action up to and including removal from the Commission. The Commission collects and its members are privy to private and confidential information collected in the process of the execution of the Commission's duties. Such information is to be safeguarded at all times, and the maintenance of the confidentiality of that information is the responsibility of the Commission. Disclosure of any confidential information by a commissioner obtained during the course of their term shall make that commissioner subject to disciplinary action up to and including removal from the Commission. Part 4D, Disciplinary Procedures. The ability of the Commission to function in its critical role and to maintain its impartiality in the conduct of its duties requires that it have the ability to take corrective action in the event that the actions of a commissioner or commissioners threatens to undermine the integrity of the Commission or the election process. Disciplinary action is not to be undertaken lightly and shall be conducted in accordance with the provisions of this ordinance. Any allegation of misconduct, lack of performance, or any violation of the election ordinance, Constitution, or other laws of the Kiowa Tribe regarding the fitness of an election commissioner to perform their duties must be submitted in writing to the Election Commission chairperson at a duly called commission meeting. Tangible supporting evidence of the allegation must also be presented at that time of submission. If the commissioner or commissioners identified in the allegation is in attendance at the meeting, they shall be offered the opportunity to address the allegations, speak on their own behalf, and ask for a period of time to gather and present evidence on their own behalf at a subsequent meeting scheduled by the chairperson. If that commissioner is not in attendance due to an excused absence, they shall be offered the opportunity to address the allegations at a subsequent meeting called for that purpose. If the commissioner is not in attendance due to an unexcused absence, the commissioner shall have the ability to render judgment in the presented matter immediately. Correction, that last sentence. If the commissioner is not in attendance due to an unexcused absence, the commission shall have the ability to render judgment in the presented matter immediately. Any disciplinary action must be voted on in a duly called meeting of the commission in which a quorum of its members are present and a majority of the votes cast are in favor of or against the disciplinary action. All matters discussed regarding conduct, evidence, and discipline shall be conducted in executive session during any commission meeting. The Election Commission's options for discipline shall be written reprimand. Such reprimand shall be incorporated into the minutes of the commission meeting at which such reprimand was issued, but recorded simply as action taken in executive session. The commission's decisions regarding reprimand shall be final. The commission shall have the ability to issue a suspension to any member found to have violated the rules of this ordinance or laws of the Kiowa tribe. The term of suspension shall be at the discretion of the commission, but shall not exceed 90 days unless that period should conclude during an election cycle, in which case such suspension shall conclude upon final certification of that election. The commission seat affected by a suspension shall remain open until the conclusion of the suspension. The commission's decision regarding suspension shall be final. Removal. The commission shall have the ability to remove any member found to have violated the rules of this ordinance or the laws of the Kiowa tribe. Removal of a commissioner shall result in that commission seat being declared immediately vacant, and the provisions for filing that vacancy shall commence. The commission's decision regarding removal shall be final. Part 4E, Meetings. The Election Commission shall conduct its work in meetings scheduled for that purpose. The Commission shall make all reasonable efforts to conduct such meetings in an open manner and in substantial compliance with the provisions of Robert's Rules of Order, with meetings requiring an agenda and that minutes shall be recorded. At its discretion, the Election Commission may utilize remote meeting technologies to conduct meetings, provided that meetings conducted remotely meet the requirements for attendance and quorum as if the meeting were conducted in person. Meetings of the Election Commission may be called at any time by the Election Commission chairperson or by request of a majority of the members of the Election Commission. In the event the Election Commission chairperson should fail to call a meeting as requested by a majority of the other members of the Election Commission, the remaining members of the Election Commission may convene upon proper notification to other members of the Election Commission and conduct business as required, provided that the attendees of such meeting must constitute and maintain a quorum as prescribed in this ordinance. For a meeting of the Election Commission to occur, a quorum must be present. A quorum of the Election Commission shall consist of at least 3 commission members. Part 4F, Duties. The duties of the Election Commission shall include, but not limited to, the following: publication of election notice, The election notice shall be published not less than 45 or more than 60 calendar days prior to the date of any election. Such notice shall be published to the appropriate venue, including the tribal website, social media accounts, email, and the tribal newspaper when applicable. The election notice shall be sent by U.S. mail to all voters who participate in the election, provided the voter has a valid address on file with the Election Commission. Determining eligibility of candidates. The Election Commission shall have the authority to determine and certify the eligibility of candidates. Provision of polling sites. The Election Commission shall designate polling sites and make such arrangements as necessary to ensure the availability and suitability of such sites for the purpose of conducting the election. The Commission shall also ensure that all necessary election supplies are delivered and accounted for prior to the opening of the polling sites on election day. Selection of poll officials. The Election Commission shall appoint or hire any necessary poll officials as may be required for an election. The Election Commission shall compensate poll officials appointed and hired to serve in this capacity. Section 5, Types of Election. Part 5, Alpha. Primary election. In accordance with the Constitution of the Kiowa Tribe, Article 9, Section 10, which states a primary election for the chairman and vice chairman team and legislators shall be held on the first Saturday in May in odd-numbered years, when such terms are set to expire. If 3 or more candidates for the office of chairman and vice chairman or legislative seat are vying for the same office, then 2 candidates who receive the highest number of votes in a primary election shall proceed to the general election. If a candidate for the office of chairman, vice chairman, or legislative seat receives 51% or more of the votes cast in a primary election, then that person or team shall be declared candidates-elect, shall not be required to run off in a general election, and shall be seated at the expiration of the term of the incumbents. The Election Commission shall conduct a primary election if 3 or more candidates file and qualify as candidates for any elective office. Part 5B, General Election. In accordance with the Constitution of the Kiowa Tribe, Article 9, Section 11, which states a general election for chairman and vice chairman, legislators, shall be held on the first Saturday in June in odd-number years when such terms are set to expire. The candidates receiving the highest number of votes in the general election shall be seated. Any tie vote in a general election shall be decided by lottery. Part 5C, Special Election. In accordance with the Constitution of the Kiowa Tribe, Article 9, Section 12, which states a special election shall be held when called for by the legislature, by law, or by this Constitution. Part 5D, Referendum Initiative Election. In accordance with the Constitution of the Kiowa Tribe, Article 9, Section 4, which states A. All petitions seeking a referendum or initiative vote on a law or budget as permitted by this Constitution shall be submitted to the Election Commission. Upon request, the Election Commission shall prepare and issue a petition form to a petitioner along with the names and addresses of eligible voters of the tribe listed according to districts, including the minimum number of signatures required for a valid petition. The Election Commission shall provide a list of names and addresses within 7 days of this request. Any voter may submit a referendum or initiative petition to the Election Commission. The Election Commission shall have 30 calendar days to rule on the validity of the signatures on the petition, and if valid, the Election Commission shall submit the law or proposed law to a popular vote in a special election which shall be held within 45 days. C. The majority of votes cast by voters in a special election shall determine the success or failure of the referendum or initiative, and if successful, the results shall be binding on the tribe, providing that 600 or more voters participated in the election. Section 6, Voter Qualifications. Part 6A, Eligible Voter. All enrolled members of the Kiowa tribe that are 18 years of age or older on the date of an election of the Kiowa tribe shall be eligible to vote in that election. Part 6B, Registered Voter. An eligible voter of the Kiowa tribe that has completed a voter registration form and submitted it to the Election Commission or has cast a ballot in the previous election shall be considered a registered voter and shall have been assigned a voting district based upon that registration. Any eligible voter presenting themselves to vote at a polling site on election day shall become a registered voter by virtue of completing a voter information registration form and casting a ballot. The Commission shall provide voter registration or voter information and registration forms at each polling site to facilitate the registration process. A registered voters district may only be changed by filing a new voter information registration form with the Election Commission no later than 30 days prior to the date of any election. The basis for district change is solely the voter's current verified place of residence. It shall be the responsibility of all registered voters to update their physical address with the Election Commission to maintain their proper district affiliation. The Election Commission shall cause to have design, produce, and shall maintain a supply of official voter information registration forms. The form shall capture all information required to confirm the eligibility and voter's physical address to verify district of residence. The form shall also be available through other outlets and social media as prescribed by the Election Commission. All signed voter information registration forms must be returned and recorded at the Election Commission office to be considered valid. The voter information registration form shall require a minimum of name, address for the mailing of a ballot, including complete street address and any apartment or space number, Kiowa tribal enrollment number, date of birth. The voter information registration form shall be available at the Election Commission office during normal business hours, as well as online or through any other outlet deemed appropriate by the Election Commission. A voter information registration form used for requesting an absentee ballot may only be submitted by the voter intending to cast the absentee ballot. Part 6C, Absentee Voters. Any registered voter may request an absentee ballot if they expect to be away from the address at which they would normally receive their ballot and are unable to cast a ballot in person on election day. Such request must be submitted in writing to the Election Commission, beginning not more than 45 days nor less than 3 days prior to any election governed by this ordinance. A registered voter may request an absentee ballot by submitting such request in writing utilizing the voter information registration form provided by the Election Commission. Any eligible voter may request an absentee ballot if they expect to be unable to cast a ballot in person on election day. An eligible voter may obtain an absentee ballot by requesting one in writing from the Election Commission. Such requests must be submitted in writing to the Election Commission, beginning not more than 45 days nor less than 3 days prior to any election governed by this ordinance. An eligible voter may request an absentee ballot by submitting such request in writing, utilizing the voter information registration form provided by the Election Commission. The eligible voter shall become a registered voter upon acceptance of voter information registration form by the Election Commission. Part 6D, Inactive Voter. Any eligible or registered voter that has had an election correspondence returned to the Election Commission office because of an invalid address shall be flagged as inactive voter. These voters shall be removed from the list of voters being mailed any election materials, including notices of election and mail ballots, until an address is received by the Kiowa Election Commission office, or the voter presents themselves to vote in person at an election, at which time their status will be changed to registered. Part 6E, Voter List Purging. Voters will be removed from the voter registration list for the following reasons. 1. Death. 2. Relinquishment of Kiowa tribal membership status. Or 3. Disenrollment from the Kiowa tribe. Section 7. Candidate Qualifications. Part 7A. Eligibility, Chairman, Vice Chairman. In accordance with the Constitution of the Kiowa tribe, Article 7, Section 3, which states, A, at the time of filing, each candidate for chairman and vice chairman shall be an enrolled member of the tribe, shall have attained the age of at least 35 years of age or older, and shall possess at least a bachelor's degree from an accredited college or university as determined by law, or, in absence of law regarding accreditation, then in accordance with the regulations promulgated by the Election Commission. B. No person convicted of a felony shall be eligible to be a candidate for chairman or vice chairman, or serve as chairman or vice chairman. Each candidate for chairman or vice chairman shall be required to submit to a criminal background check conducted by the Election Commission. C. At the time of filing a nomination petition, a candidate for chairman and vice chairman shall physically reside in a voting district other than District 7. Verification of residence, such as driver's license, a utility bill, or similar documents shall be filed with the Election Commission at the time of nomination. The chairman and vice chairman shall be residents of a voting district other than District 7 for the duration of their terms. D. At the time of filing, each candidate for chairman and vice chairman shall submit copies of personal and real property in excess of $10,000 to the Election Commission. E. At the time of filing, candidates for vice chairman and chairman and vice chairman cannot owe any monetary debts to the tribe if such debts are in arrears or in default. Part 7B, Eligibility of Legislatures, Districts 1 through 6. In accordance with the Constitution of the Kiowa Tribe, Article 5, Section 4, which states, A, at the time of filing, each candidate for district legislator shall be an enrolled member of the tribe, shall have attained the age of 21 years or older, and shall have a high school degree or its equivalent. No person convicted of a felony shall be eligible to be a candidate for legislator or serve as a legislator. Each candidate for legislator shall be required to submit to a criminal background check conducted by the Election Commission. C. At the time of filing a nomination petition, a candidate for district legislator shall physically reside in such district. Verification of residence, such as a driver's license, a utility bill, or similar documents, shall be filed with the Election Commission at the time of nomination. Each district legislator shall reside in the district from which they are elected for the duration of the term. Each district legislator shall be a registered voter in the district from which they are elected. D. At the time of filing, a candidate for district legislator cannot owe any monetary debts to the tribe if such debts are in arrears or in default. E. No legislator shall otherwise be employed in any government capacity. F. Candidates who run for Districts 1 through 6 legislator seats shall be prohibited from running as a candidate in District 7 at the same time. Part 7C, Eligibility Legislators, District 7. In accordance with the Constitution of the Kiowa Tribe, Article 6, Section 5, which states, A, at the time of filing for candidacy, each candidate for district legislator shall be an enrolled member of the tribe, shall have attained the age of 21 years or older and shall possess a high school degree or its equivalent. B. No person convicted of a felony shall be eligible to be a candidate for District 7 legislator. Each candidate for legislator shall be required to submit to a criminal background check conducted by the Election Commission. C. The legislator from District 7 shall reside outside the 6 voting districts. Only qualified members who reside outside the boundaries set for District 1 through 6 shall vote for the District 7 legislator. Verification of residence, such as a driver's license, utility bill, or similar documents shall be filed with the Election Commission at the time of nomination. D. At the time of filing, a candidate for District 7 legislator cannot owe any monetary debts to the tribe if such debts are in arrears or in default. E. No District 7 legislators shall be otherwise employed in any governmental capacity. Part 7D, filing for office. A candidate packet can be requested using the following methods: by appearing at the Election Commission office, by mail, or by fax. Upon receipt of a request, a packet will be mailed at the end of the following business day. The packet must be returned by the close of the candidate registration period and accompanied by $150 filing fee in form of cashier check or money order. No personal checks or cash will be accepted. The candidate registration period shall begin no more than 60 days prior to the election and will end 45 days prior to the election date or the following business day. The candidate packet shall contain the following: registration form, nomination petition, in accordance with the Constitution of the Kiowa Tribe, Article 9, Section 4, which states each candidate for elective office shall file a nomination petition with the Election Commission. Each nomination petition shall contain at least 50 signatures of members of the tribe who are qualified to vote in the respective district. Request for confidentiality inquiry from the Finance Department. Release of background check. Checklist of required documents. Copies of tax return documents. That is for the chairman and the vice chairman only. Verification of educational requirements. Verification of residency. Proof of tribal enrollment. Current photo ID. At the time of submission, candidate packets will be verified for completeness by the Election Commission staff. Incomplete packets will not be accepted. Only completed packets will be considered by the Election Commission. Part 7E, verification of eligibility. The Election Commission shall meet to review all candidate filings at the close of the filing period to confirm completeness of the filings. The unofficial candidate list will be posted the following business day. The Election Commission will verify financial statements, tribal enrollment, and background checks to confirm eligibility. An official candidates list reflecting all candidates determined by the Commission to be eligible to appear on the ballot shall be posted within 5 days of the close of the candidate registration period. If the Election Commission determines that a person is not eligible to be a candidate, the Commission shall promptly notify such person that their candidacy has been denied, providing the reasons for denial and informing the person that unless satisfactory proof of eligibility is furnished within 72 hours of notification, they shall be declared ineligible to be a candidate. The Election Commission shall make its final ruling within 48 hours of receipt of such satisfactory proof. There shall be no refund of filing fees. In accordance with the Constitution, Kiowa Tribes, Article 9, Section 9A, which states the Election Commission shall make all determinations regarding the eligibility of candidates. The decision of the Election Commission regarding eligibility shall be final. Part 7F, challenge of candidates. The candidate challenge period shall begin the day after the official election list has been posted. An eligible voter may challenge the eligibility of a candidate by filing with the Election Commission a written statement setting forth the grounds for the challenge. The challenge must be filed within 72 hours of the posting of the official candidate list. Once a challenge is received, the Election Commission shall meet promptly after the challenge period has concluded to determine if any challenges have been timely filed and determine the validity of such challenges. If no challenges are filed, the Election Commission shall promptly post the final official candidates list. If the Election Commission determines the challenge to be valid, the Commission shall notify the challenged candidate that his or her candidacy has been challenged and provide the reasons for the challenge. The candidate being challenged shall furnish satisfactory proof of eligibility to refute the challenge within 72 hours of notification, or they shall be declared ineligible to be a candidate. The Election Commission shall make its final ruling within 48 hours of receipt of any challenged candidate's response to a challenge. There shall be no refund of filing fees. In accordance with the Constitution of Kiowa Tribe, Article 9, Section 9, which states the Election Commission shall make all determinations regarding the eligibility of candidates. The decision of the Election Commission regarding candidate eligibility shall be final. Section 8, Ballots. Part 8A, Quantities. The Election Commission shall cause to be printed a sufficient number of official ballots to ensure that all voters presenting themselves on election day shall be able to receive a ballot, as well as enough ballots to be available in case the number of voters spoiling ballots. The Election Commission shall also cause to be printed sufficient absentee ballots so as to accommodate absentee ballot requests. The Election Commission shall cause an official mail-in ballot to be sent via U.S. mail to each registered voter eligible to participate in an election. Part 8B, Form of Ballot. Official ballots for use at polling sites on election day shall contain the following heading: Official ballot, Kiowa Tribe, title of the election, date of the election, district number and name of the polling site. Official mail-in ballots shall contain the following heading: Official mail-in ballot, Kiowa Tribe, title of the election, date of the election, district number and name of the polling site. Absentees shall contain the following heading: Official absentee ballot, Kiowa Tribe, title of the election, district number and date of the election. Ballots being printed with security features as to prevent copying and should include a watermarked image of the seal of the Kiowa Tribe. Ballots shall be produced and perforated, subsequently numbered stub from which the ballot can be detached to ensure the secrecy of the ballot once separated and issued to the voter to facilitate accountability of each individual ballot. Along with the sequential number printed on the stub shall be text corresponding to the heading printed on the ballot. Ballots shall be numbered beginning with the number 1 at each polling site. In the case of automated tabulation being used, ballots shall be printed and constructed in accordance with the tabulator manufacturer's specifications, provided the basic construction be as described above. The Election Commission shall cause to have printed a number of sample ballots to be available to voters to review prior to being issued an official ballot. The sample ballot shall be printed with the word sample imprinted in red across its face. Part 8C, Order of Appearance. Candidates' names shall appear on the ballot as they are presented to the Election Commission on the candidates' filings. Nicknames, AKAs, or professional titles may not be used. Once the commission has produced the final certified candidate list, the election commission shall conduct a random drawing of the candidates' names to determine which name shall appear in the first position on the ballot, and continue the process until each candidate in the contest has been assigned an initial ballot position. Once the initial ballot positions have been established, the election commission shall cause ballots to be printed so that the candidates' names are rotated on each ballot so as to cause each candidate's names to appear in the first position an equal number of times. Part 8D, Delivery and Accounting of Ballots. Ballots shall be distributed to each polling site, and the quantities of ballots for each polling site shall be confirmed and documented utilizing a ballot accounting form provided for that purpose. The ballot accounting form shall document the quantity of ballots provided at each polling site, the beginning and ending ballot stub numbers of the ballots provided, and spaces to record the beginning and ending ballot stub numbers of ballots used at the polling site. The first and last ballot stub numbers of the ballots being returned to the election commission, as well as a space to record the quantity of ballots that were spoiled at the polling site. The ballot accounting form shall have spaces for signature of polling officials to acknowledge receipt of ballots from the election commission, as well as spaces for signature of the election commission to acknowledge the return of the unused ballots. Section 9, Manner of requesting and issuing absentee ballots. Upon receipt of a valid voter information registration form, the election commission shall cause to be issued an absentee ballot packet containing the materials prescribed in section 7A below. The election commission shall cause to be maintained an absentee voter registration or its equivalent to document the mailing, return, and disposition of each absentee ballot. This absentee ballot voter registration and the equivalent system shall be utilized to ensure there is an audit trail available for each absentee ballot transaction. Part 9A, Form of absentee ballot and absentee ballot packet. The absentee ballot shall be an exact duplicate of the official ballot, with the title official ballot replaced with the title official absentee ballot. The absentee ballots may be produced with sequential numbered stubs to provide accountability of the ballots, and provided that the stub is removed from the ballot and retained by the election commission prior to the ballot being mailed to the voters, so as not to infringe on the secrecy of the ballot. The absentee ballot packet shall consist of absentee ballot mailing envelope, the outgoing envelope used to send all necessary absentee voting materials to the voter, absentee ballot return mailing envelope, the envelope used by the voters to return their voted ballot to the election commission. This envelope shall be pre-addressed to ensure that absentee ballots are returned to the post office box procured by the election commission exclusively for the receipt of absentee ballots. This envelope shall also bear the following certificate to be signed by the voter. Certificate: I hereby certify that I am a member of the Kiowa tribe, that I will be at least 18 years of age on the date of this election, and that I am entitled to vote in this election. Signed, blank. Secrecy envelope: the envelope used by the voter to seal their ballot prior to inserting the secrecy envelope into the absentee ballot return mailing envelope. Part 9B, Marking of absentee ballot and return of absentee ballot packet. The voters shall mark their ballot indicating their choices, and then place the folded ballot into the secrecy envelope. The voter shall then place the secrecy envelope into the absentee ballot return mailing envelope and seal the envelope. The voters shall then sign the certificate on the reverse side of the absentee ballot return mailing envelope. Failure to sign the certificate shall cause the absentee ballot packet to be marked as rejected at the time of absentee ballot tabulation. Absentee ballots must be returned by mail to the post office box established by the election commission exclusively for receipt of absentee ballots. Absentee ballot packets must be received at Carnegie, Oklahoma Post Office no later than 10 a.m. on election day. Absentee ballots may not be delivered in person or to any other location. Part 9C, form of mail-in ballot packet. The mail-in ballot shall be an exact duplicate of the official ballot, with the title official ballot replaced with the title official mail-in ballot. The mail-in ballot shall consist of mail-in ballot mailing envelope, the outgoing envelope used to send all necessary mail-in voting materials to the voter, mail-in ballot return mailing envelope, this envelope used by the voter to return their voted ballot to the Election Commission. This envelope shall be pre-addressed to ensure that mail-in ballots are returned to the post office box procured by the Election Commission exclusively for the receipt of mail-in ballots. This envelope shall bear the following certificate to be signed by the voter. Certificate: I hereby certify that I am a member of the Kiowa tribe, that I will be at least 18 years of age on the date of this election, and that I am entitled to vote in this election. Signed, blank. Secrecy envelope, the envelope used by the voter to seal their ballot prior to inserting the secrecy envelope into the mail-in ballot return mailing envelope. 9D, marking of the mail-in ballot and return of the mail-in ballot packet. The voters shall mark their ballot indicating their choices and then place the folded ballot into the secrecy envelope. The voters shall then place the secrecy envelope in the mail-in ballot return mailing envelope and seal the envelope. The voters shall then sign their certificate on the reverse side of the mail-in ballot returning mailing envelope. Failure to sign their certificate shall cause the mail-in ballot packet to be marked as rejected at the time of mail-in ballot tabulation. Mail-in ballots must be returned by mail to the post office box established by the Election Commission exclusively for the receipt of absentee and mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballot packets must be received at Carnegie, Oklahoma Post Office no later than 10 a.m. on election day. Mail-in ballot packets may not be delivered in person or to any other location. Part 9E, security of absentee mail-in ballot packets. Absentee and mail-in ballot packets shall remain at the post office until such time as the chairman of the Election Commission or their designee and at least 2 other witnesses shall retrieve the absentee and mail-in ballot packets from the post office, and shall personally and securely transport the absentee and mail-in ballot packets to the tabulation site. Part 9F, processing and tabulation of absentee and mail-in ballots. After the receipt of absentee and mail-in ballot packets, at least 2 members of the Election Commission and any duly assigned poll officials as designated by the Election Commission shall prepare the ballot packets for tabulation. Each ballot packet received shall be logged in the ballot register. After ballot packets have been logged into the ballot register, the outer envelope shall be examined to determine if the certificate on the return mailing envelope has been properly signed. Unsigned return mailing envelopes shall be marked as rejected and remain unopened. These rejected ballots shall be logged into the ballot register as rejected and then secured along with the other ballot packet materials and become part of the permanent record of the election. Properly signed return mailing envelope shall then be opened and the secrecy envelope removed from the ballot return mailing envelope. The secrecy envelope shall remain sealed. The polling officials shall confirm that all return mailing envelopes are empty and secure the empty envelopes with the other ballot packet materials to become part of the permanent record of the election. Once the empty returning mailing envelopes have been secured, the poll officials shall open the secrecy envelope and remove the ballots from the secrecy envelopes. The polling officials shall ensure that all secrecy envelopes are empty and then secure the empty secrecy envelopes with the other ballot packet materials to become part of the permanent record of the election. Part 9G, counting of mail-in and absentee ballots. Once the ballots have been separated from the secrecy envelopes, the poll officials shall tabulate the ballots in the manner prescribed by the Election Commission. Part 9H, improperly marked ballots. If a portion of a ballot is improperly marked, it shall not cause the entire ballot to be voided. Any ballot on which the intent of the voter cannot be determined on the entirety of the ballot shall be marked as rejected and secured with the other ballot packet materials to become a part of permanent record of the election. Section 10, duties of poll officials and voters. There shall be not less than 2 poll officials assigned at each polling site. The polling officials will be responsible for all arrangements, including availability of ballots and other election materials as necessary to conduct balloting at their designated polling place. They shall provide sufficient private booths or other places for voters to mark their ballots in secrecy. The polling site election officials shall be present at the designated polling site on election day in time to permit voting to begin when the polls open and shall remain open until the polls close. All ballots have been counted, the tally properly recorded and reported, and the ballot boxes and the ballots turned over for delivery to the Election Commission as provided in this ordinance. All elections shall be held on Saturday, and the polls shall be open between the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Before the balloting begins, the poll officials shall open and inspect the ballot box to determine that it is empty. The ballot box shall then be locked and remain locked until the time to count the ballots. After opening of the polling site, each voter, upon presenting themselves to vote, shall announce to the polling officials their name, address, and present a valid photo identification. The poll official shall determine if the voter's name appears on the signature roster and that the voter's status is indicated as registered. If the voter's status is indicated as registered, the voters shall sign the signature roster next to their printed name. In the case of a voter who signs with an X or a thumbprint, that voter shall have their mark witnessed by 2 election officials. After the voter has signed the signature roster, and the poll officials shall issue the voter a ballot. Each voter must sign the signature roster before they receive a ballot. If a voter's status is found to be not registered, the voter must complete a voter information registration form before being allowed to sign the signature roster and being issued a ballot. Upon receipt of a ballot, the voter shall proceed to one of the private voting booths or other designated area to mark their ballot. Only one person shall occupy a voting booth at one time, except as provided elsewhere in this ordinance. The voter must mark and deposit the ballot in the designated receptacle before leaving the voting area. The voter shall mark their ballot according to the instructions provided. In the event a voter appears at the polls to vote and finds their name does not appear on the signature roster for that election, the poll official shall contact the Election Commission office to determine the eligibility of the voter. The Election Commission's decision as to voter eligibility shall be final. When any voter presents themselves to vote and states that because to physical disability or infirmity or they are unable to mark their ballot, the polling officials shall complete an affidavit of assistance provided for that purpose. Once the affidavit of assistance has been completed, the poll officials shall provide the voter assistance as requested, but in such instances, the voter must state without suggestions from such officials the way they wish to vote, and in no instance shall a poll official by word, action, or expression attempt to influence the voter as to how they should vote. Such assistance shall be given in privacy, and all persons other than the poll official shall be kept sufficiently distant so that they will not hear or know how the voter executed their ballot. Any voter needing an interpreter shall furnish one. Any persons waiting in line to vote at the closing time shall be permitted to vote, but those presenting themselves after the closing of the polls shall not be permitted to vote. Section 11, Handling of Special Circumstances. Part 11A, Spoiled Ballot. Should any voter spoil their ballot in their effort to vote, they shall fold and return to the poll officials, and the voter shall then, in the presence of polling officials, place the spoiled ballot in one of the spoiled ballot envelopes provided to the poll officials for that purpose. The poll officials shall then provide the voter with a replacement ballot in the same manner as the original ballot was provided. All spoiled ballot envelopes containing spoiled ballots will be accounted for on the ballot accounting form and secured with the voting ballots at the closing of the poll site. Part 11B, Electioneering and Loitering. No person shall be allowed to campaign or electioneer within 100 feet of the building where and when an election is in progress. Neither will any loitering be permitted in the polling place during voting hours. It shall be the duty of the poll officials at the polling site to obtain such assistance as may be required to maintain order during the progress of the election. Section 12, Canvass of Election Results. Part 12 Alpha, Polling Sites. The poll officials shall tabulate the votes at each polling site as soon as the last voter has either manually utilizing tally sheets provided by the Election Commission or electronically if the electronic voting machines are being used. If, in the course of a manual tabulation of ballots, a portion of a ballot is found to be improperly marked, only that portion of the improperly marked ballot shall be voided. Once all ballots have been tabulated, the tabulation results shall be communicated directly to the Election Commission office. Poll officials shall not disseminate the results of the tabulation in any fashion other than as instructed by the Election Commission, including verbally, telephonically, or through any type of social media. Upon completion of tabulation and communication of the results to the Election Commission, the poll officials shall sign the certification of results provided by the Election Commission. The poll officials shall secure all marked and unmarked ballots as well as any other election materials in the secured containers provided by Election Commission and return the containers to the Election Commission office immediately. 12B, Poll Watchers. All tribal members, including candidates, are entitled to observe the tabulation process. No watchers shall in any way interfere with or hinder the poll officials in performance of their duties. Part 12C. Upon the closing of polls, the Election Commission shall collect the election results from each polling site and compile and prepare their report of unofficial election results to be posted as soon as practical. The unofficial election results shall contain the following information: election title, election date, election results by polling site, election results for the absentee precinct, accumulated vote totals and percentages, count of spoiled ballots, count of rejected ballots, and count of total ballots cast. Part 12D, Ties. In the event of a tie vote in an election in which a tie remains unresolved for any challenge, recount, or protest proceedings have been completed, the following resolution methods shall be applied by the Election Commission. A. Primary election. In the event of a tie between the second and third place finishers in the election, both candidates will proceed to the general election. B. General election. In the event of a tie, the winning candidate will be determined by lottery in accordance with Article 9, Section 11 of the Constitution of the Kiowa Tribe. C. Resolution, budget election. In the event of a tie, the election results of the election shall be declared as null and void, and a special election will be called. Part 12E. Official election results. After all challenges, recounts, protests, and tie votes have been resolved, the Election Commission shall cause to be generated the official election results. The official election results shall substantially reflect the unofficial election results, but shall include the following statement. We, the undersigned members of the Kiowa Election Commission, do hereby certify the above to be true and accurate abstract of the votes cast in the election herein. We certify that said election was conducted in accordance with the Constitution of the Kiowa Tribe and the Kiowa Tribal Election Ordinance. The official results shall be posted in public places as determined by the Election Commission, as well as on the website of the Kiowa Tribe and any other social media and information outlets as to be determined. Section 13, Contest of Election Results. Part 13 Alpha, Request for Recounts. Within 32 hours of posting of unofficial results, any registered voter of the tribe may request a recount of the ballots to be conducted by the Election Commission. The request shall specify the candidate or position on behalf of which the request is being filed. The request for a recount must be in writing, signed, and accompanied by a $500 recount fee submitted by cashier's check or money order. Personal checks or cash will not be accepted. Upon receipt of a written request, the recount fee, the Election Commission shall proceed to conduct a recount of votes in the challenged contest. No request for a recount shall be considered that is not made within the time period provided in this ordinance. If the requester is successful in the recount, i.e. the candidate or position on behalf of which the request was filed is to be determined to be the winner at the end of the recount, the requester shall have returned to them any amount above the actual cost involved in the conduct of this recount. If the recount is unsuccessful, i.e. the candidate or person on behalf of which the request was filed is not determined the winner at the end of the recount, the requester shall forfeit the entire fee. Part 13B, Protest alleging fraud or other irregularities. Within 32 hours of posting the unofficial results, any registered voter of the tribe may file a written protest alleging fraud, the correctness of announced results, or other irregularities. The written protest must be accompanied by a cashier's check or money order in the amount of $500. Personal checks and or cash will not be accepted. In such protest, the challenger must allege that fraud or irregularities occurred in the voting process and that the results of the election were materially affected by such fraud or irregularities. The challenger must further allege where such fraudulent or irregular incidents or activities occurred, the specific act constituting such alleged fraud or irregularities, and the names of the alleged perpetrators of such fraud and irregularities. If such allegations are not made with supporting information, or if proper filing and submittal procedures are not followed, the protest shall be deemed frivolous by the Election Commission and shall be dismissed. If such protest is filed in the manner herein provided, the Election Commission shall herein determine said issue not later than 48 hours following the closing of the protest period. The Election Commission shall render a final determination in writing on any protest or challenge within 48 hours of the hearing. If the Election Commission fails to render a determination on any protest or challenge within 48 hours, the original certification of the election results shall be deemed final for the purpose of judicial review in accordance with Article 9, Section 14 of the Constitution of the Kiowa Tribe. Part 13C, Appeals. Any appeal of a final determination made by the Election Commission on a protest or a challenge to the results of the election may be filed directly with the Supreme Court of the Kiowa Tribe, provided that a non-refundable fee of $1,000 in the form of cashier's check and money order is filed with the appeal. Personal checks and cash will not be accepted. The Supreme Court of the Kiowa Tribe shall hear and decide all election appeals within 30 days, provided that if the Supreme Court of the Kiowa Tribe fails to decide such appeals within 30 days, then the decision of the Election Commission shall be final, and no subsequent judicial review shall be permitted in accordance with Article 9, Section 14 of the Constitution of the Kiowa Tribe. In any case where fraud is proven on any part of any candidate for office, that individual shall be declared ineligible for the office for which they were a candidate in accordance with Article 9, Section 14 of the Constitution of the Kiowa Tribe. Section 14, Amendments. Amendments to this ordinance may be made in a duly called meeting of the Election Commission, at which a quorum of the Commission is in attendance, and a majority of those members in attendance voted for the proposed amendments. No amendments to this ordinance shall be enacted less than 180 days prior to any election governed by this ordinance.